So here we are, friends, ready to hopefully start this live feed soon. I was just checking that everything was up and running as usual, and I'm just making sure that all the things are working properly, friends, to celebrate together Asteroid Day 2020. As far as I can see, the audio is coming fine, and the video as well. Just making sure that everything is set at its best. Before starting. So at this point, I think that we are truly ready to start celebrating Asteroid Day. I'm checking the weather at the observatory as we scheduled. I think that we are just running, so time for me to start this officially. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Gianluca Masi speaking from the Virtual Telescope project, and it is for me a big joy, honestly, to be here today because we are celebrating something very special. Today is Asteroid Day, so first of all, happy Asteroid Day to everyone. The Virtual Telescope is here to bring to you the wonders of the realm of the asteroids, just observing a few of them live, something that the Virtual Telescope has been doing many times over the last 15 years now. And sharing asteroids on Asteroid Day is of a particular, interest and truly exciting for me. Before starting, I want to thank all of you for being here, and this is some kind of experiment because for the first time we are broadcasting this live both on Facebook and YouTube. So I apologize in advance if something will, I hope no, but if something will go wrong, I hope you will understand because we are trying to make as many people happy as possible because we know that some of you prefer to follow us on Facebook, some of them prefer on YouTube, and in order to make as many of you as possible happy, we are trying this for the first time, and this was a last moment decision. So this is an experiment with the good and hopefully only the good of everything running for the first time. Well, I am sure that you know Asteroid Day now. This is the 6th edition since the first one was presented to the international public in 2015, and after 6 editions, including this one, I'm pretty sure you know what Asteroid is. It is a wonderful international celebration bringing to the people worldwide the beauty of the asteroid world from a scientific point of view and from a cultural point of view. A number of people, scientists, astronauts, celebrities, understanding how important it is for us on this planet to understand asteroids, also to handle, we hope no, but to handle someday maybe the risk of a collision, is just suggesting to share what we know about this with the people, and also to invite governments to improve, to increase their involvement in asteroid research support. And Asteroid Day really helped a lot in that direction, and I have been lucky enough, blessed to follow closely what Asteroid Day did over the years. I had the pleasure and the privilege to be invited and participate on Asteroid Live in Luxembourg, where the Asteroid Foundation is based. And from there, we really offered to the world something special over the last years, this year too. And I was there as a guest, and as a host as well. And this year, because of the pandemic issue, you know pretty well, the Asteroid Day Live was offered in a different form, with all the guests joining remotely from home, safely from home. But it has been really an amazing experience. I really love it to follow the entire Asteroid Day Live Digital this year, as well as the many other interesting proposals by the space agencies involved in this amazing event. And Asteroid Day has been founded by 4 people. Brian May, and you know him, he is a legendary rock star, the lead guitarist of the rock band Queen, but he is also a PhD in astronomy. And then we have my friend Greg Richter, my friend Danny Karemi, and my friend Rusty Zweikart, Apollo astronaut. And these 4 people had the amazing idea to introduce Asteroid Day. And soon after it was introduced, it gained a lot of attention, and now, after a number of years since this has been done, it is also an official United Nations event. So talking about Asteroid Day today means talking about a lot of great things: science, entertainment, and also seeing the asteroids as resources, because we have to stop to think that asteroids are bringing us just fear. Okay, we really don't like the idea to have a collision with an asteroid, but it can happen, and we have to be prepared. And Asteroid Day is also supporting this kind of studies. Okay, but we also have to think that asteroids are very positive, because they help us understanding the origin of our solar system, the origin of our planet, and basically the origin of ourselves. And also they can provide us very precious resources, and in the future we can really hopefully use asteroids to improve the quality of life on this planet. And I have also the privilege to be the Asteroid Day National Coordinator for Italy, and there are quite a number of national coordinators all around the planet. And all this started in the 2nd edition of Asteroid Day, when I suggested the Asteroid Day International Board to consider this figure to help organizing Asteroid Day locally. And we worked on Italy that year as an experiment, and the results were tremendous. They were really wonderful, and now national coordinators are a regular figure, an important one in the organization of this event. But I will tell you much more during this live feed, but asteroids and Asteroid Day are really the main actors here. So I want to thank you again for joining, and I also want to switch my the video from myself to the stars, to asteroids, honestly. And as I told you, we are going to observe a few objects. But before we start, I want to share with you what asteroids are, because as I told you, they are very precious to better understand what we are and why we are here. If you look at the solar system, you will see that we have around the sun not only a handful of planets, but we have also quite a huge number of small objects. They are asteroids, mainly located between Mars and Jupiter, but some of them are orbiting the Sun on orbits bringing them in the inner solar system, and they can be reason of concern. I will tell you more while we will be observing these objects. So let me introduce what we are seeing here, my friends. You are maybe at home, you are somewhere in over the planet, I know, and you are connecting with us, and thanks to us you are going to see the stars and asteroids through our telescope. What you see here is the console of the main telescope available at the Virtual Telescope project. The Virtual Telescope project started operations in 2006 and now is a leading facility sharing the sky in real time, making possible for people worldwide to see what is happening up there somewhere in the universe thanks to our powerful telescopes. It is pretty easy. You just connect to the Virtual Telescope website, as you have done in this case, and we are just delivering images to you with comments to hopefully help you unveiling the beauty of the place of the universe where we live. And now let me start asking the telescope to point some interesting objects. How do asteroids look like? This is a good question, and actually this was asked to me hours ago, and I'm happy to answer this. When you look up thanks to a telescope, at the first glance you cannot recognize an asteroid from a star, because stars looks like points of light. Asteroids up there with a telescope look like a point of light. So at first glance you cannot really find any difference, and in order to better understand this, I now ask the telescope to point one near Earth object, the one you see here, 106589. This is a near Earth asteroid. In order to make possible for you to better enjoy your experience, I want to tell you that what you see here is a star map. These are the stars just above the Virtual Telescope project in central Italy, about 100 kilometers south of Rome. I am in Rome. The observatory is far away from me, 100 kilometers south from me now, and nobody is there, so this is a truly fully robotic facility. So these are the stars above the telescope. Basically it is the same sky I have above Rome, even if better, because in Rome you have plenty of light pollution. The yellow circle here is where the telescope is pointing now, while the red crosshair you see here is where the object we ask to the system to find is placed. So basically what you see here is a star map telling where you are looking and where the objects of interest are, and hopefully this is making your experience better, making possible for you to feel like an astronomer on site. And now I will ask our telescope to slew to reach the object we want to observe. We are now going there, and I have to unpark the mount, of course, and now I am initializing the telescope. This is a typical procedure that we have to do every time we start observing, and please understand that we are working in real time. Everything you are seeing here is happening now, and it is done in real time. I'm really operating a real telescope, and we are going to see real images. Now the telescope is moving, and you will see the yellow circle moving and finally reaching the red circle. And at some point they will be on the same place, and that meaning that we are on the right position. And what happened now? The telescope moved, and in fact, looking to the map, you see that the yellow circle is now sitting on the red circle. The telescope is pointing where our object is. And also, I asked the system to take a very quick image. Here it is. We have something here, of course. And now we can look at the image carefully. As you have some stars all around, and as I told you, I ask you, can you recognize from the image what is an asteroid and what is a star? Well, I would say that these are mainly stars, but I cannot tell for sure who is who. And the only opportunity I have to identify an asteroid among a rich star field is to look at its special feature, motion. Motion is the special feature I will look at to recognize an asteroid compared to a star. Our telescope is advanced enough to make possible for us to track asteroids. That is, asteroids are moving, they are orbiting around the sun. Okay, this is not a novel for you, a novelty for you. And if I ask the telescope to track the object, I can hopefully see a slow motion of this object across the stars. Now I will ask, as I told you, to my telescope to track the object, and I'm doing this right now. I'm asking my telescope, please take into account the very particular, the very personal motion through the sky of my asteroid and track it. This is what the telescope is doing now. What next? I will ask the telescope to take an image. I start taking this image, telling you what is happening. I'm pretty sure you are very familiar with shooting images. We have smartphones with very beautiful cameras and we are taking pictures all the time. And you know, it is quite easy to take a picture when you are in broad daylight, plenty of light around you. You take your phone and your image is done instantly. Click and it is done. What happens when night arrives? You have much less light and taking an image is not so easy. If you have a good camera, perhaps you can still take your image. Otherwise, you have to say, sorry, I can't. Well, when you are imaging the sky, very likely you are facing very faint objects. Objects can be really millions of times fainter than the brightest stars you see by naked eye. In other words, almost every time, unless you are imaging bright objects like the moon, like the planets, like the brightest stars, but almost every time you are imaging very, very faint objects. And that said, you need to use a long exposure. You have just a little light, and in order to record a reasonable, a decent image, you have to collect that light, poor light, for a lot of time in order to accumulate enough signal to see something. And this is what I have done right now. I asked my telescope to collect light for about for 3 minutes exactly, and after the very sensitive imaging device has been exposed to the objects we are imaging for 3 minutes, the system will ask to the imaging device to show us what it has recorded. And as you can see, the image we have already here was just a very quick exposure, and we already see something. But now, hopefully, we are going to see things much better, and hopefully we can also see the asteroid. What is the asteroid? I'm just checking a few details about the asteroid. This software is quite interesting because, of course, you have the name, the catalog number 106589. This is an asteroid. You have the position and also the brightness accordingly with a specific, a very personal scale used by astronomers, magnitude, and the brightness of this, as you can see, is 16.88, which is not faint at all. And here we have the first image, and likely one of these should be the object we are imaging. The question is, what is the object? As you can see, the motion is still too small to easily recognize the asteroid. Asteroids are moving all the time. They can be moving faster or slower. It depends by several factors, and sometimes it can take time to spot the motion. Nearer asteroids very often are seen moving pretty fast. Those of you following the virtual telescope have seen many images by the virtual telescope itself with asteroids moving pretty fast. Crazy asteroids, I would say. So let's see if the next image, arriving in 99 seconds, will tell something more about this object. I find very interesting to show motions in the sky, because a lot of people out there think that everything is just doing nothing in the sky. No motion, no life, no evolution, nothing. This is absolutely false, because you can spot fast moving objects, fast rotating objects, and fast evolving objects. And if you look carefully, you can see a lot of these things. Let's hope we will be able to spot something. Otherwise, the orbital elements used to point this object were not correct. I don't think this could be the case, because these were downloaded right now via the Minor Planet Center, which is like a sanctuary for us doing this kind of work. And image is coming soon. Let's see if the asteroid is the one very near to the center of the image or not. It is. Clearly, we have an answer. This is the asteroid. If I load the image, the first image, this is the first image. Please try to record in your mind the relative position of these three stars. If I load the final image, you see that all the objects are slowly sliding to the bottom right, while this object is still there. I will show you again. Sorry, this is just the test image. First image, the asteroid, 2 stars, and if I load the second image, you see that the stars are a bit more distance, moving to the bottom right. And this is a clear evidence that we are observing a moving object, an asteroid. So friends, the asteroid is this. If you don't mind, I will be waiting for 100 seconds more to have a third image just confirming this impression, my friends. Meantime, I also want to check the weather at the observatory while we are at summer here, and while I have several devices ready to alert me in case of bad weather, I still prefer the old ways. Look yourself through our cameras available there for this task. I see this is the sky is still very nice, as I hoped, as one should expect this season in Italy. And in 45 seconds we will have another confirmation image. Looking for asteroids of interest as for the impact risk is something we started to do in a very intense way 20-25 years ago. I remember when we started, the astronomical community started those projects, surfing the skies every night looking for near-Earth asteroids. And soon after those very performing telescopes started operations, we started discovering a lot of asteroids, normal asteroids, really a lot, and among them also near-Earth asteroids. And now you have very advanced telescopes like the one available at the Catalina Sky Survey, for example, of a Pan-STARRS survey, and other surveys doing a truly excellent work. And yes, this is the asteroid, because now there is some wind. I see the stars are moving in a strange way. If you look here, the first image, okay friends, and now if I load the final image, you can see that this object is always there while all the other ones are apparently moving. So I would like to go to see another object, another asteroid. I will stop now image acquisition on this to move on and image something different. Let me ask the telescope to do this right now. And I also want to reset something at the remote observatory. And I really love sharing real-time observations via the virtual telescope project. This is something I really love. Okay, we are now back. And I'm just switching back to the telescope console for you. Here we are. Let me improve the quality of the screen. Let me load again the asteroid orbital elements. Just loading the elements. Downloaded from the Minor Planet Center. And by the way, look how many asteroids in this file are. there are quite a lot of asteroids. Well, we know hundreds of thousands of asteroids. Okay, this is a very, very impressive number, I must say. And they are mainly located between Mars and Jupiter. So we can really, really stay safe. And to date, we know a bit more than 23,000 of near-Earth objects. So they are quite a number, I see. Quite a number. Time for us to visit something more. Let's ask the telescope to salute to something more. I want to filter these objects to limit the visible asteroids on the screen to the brightest one, for a simple reason. We have there a very bright moon, and when you have a very bright moon, you cannot see very faint objects. If you look at the sky when a bright moon is up there, you see just a very few stars. It is a natural lamp, making not impossible for us to see the stars. And of course, in these cases, I cannot observe faint objects. Let's look for another object to observe. I'm just picking asteroids randomly, just to improve the idea that this is done in real time together. I really would like to find an object moving pretty fast, or at least faster than the one we observed earlier. This could be nice, but let me check if something else can be found moving perhaps a bit more speedy, my friends. We are exploring the sky together now, and I think we can go with this. Okay, let's ask the telescope to point asteroid 6569 Ondatie. This has also a personal name. It is a nice story how people can name asteroids. If you want to give a name to an asteroid, the only thing you have to do is to go out there and discover one. And as the discoverer, you have the opportunity to propose a name for your discovery. And by the way, I want to tell also that there are asteroids named after many scientists, many artists, and so on, as well as an asteroid named after Asteroid Day, discovered by my dear friend Matt Dawson, musician and very experienced asteroid observer in Luxembourg. And this year, being at home and not there, I will miss meeting my dear friend. Too bad, but you know, this is the reason of this, is just to stay safe. Well, if you look now at the map, you should be able to understand. Here it is where the object is. We were here earlier, okay? Now the telescope reached the position of our second asteroid. As I did earlier, I will ask the telescope to track this object at its very personal speed, and I will confirm I want this, and then I will start imaging. Let's take once again a 3-minute long image. I understand that waiting for 3 minutes can look as a lot of time for you, sitting on your very comfortable chair, but I can tell you that 3 minutes are nothing. We are using, over the last 25-30 years, let's say, we have seen a lot of digital imaging devices taking the place of traditional imaging devices in every astronomical observatory. At the times of the chemical film, taking an image of an astronomical object was really a truly hard task, because you had to expose for dozens of minutes or hours sometimes, and for all that time, 1 hour for example, you had to carefully monitor with your own eye that the telescope was correctly tracking the sky in order to have a nice image. Can you imagine to do this out there in a very cold winter night, just sitting at your telescope with your eye just glued on the eyepiece and just monitoring for all that long time that everything is working well, monitoring all the time. Now the telescopes can do those things in minutes, and so waiting for 3 minutes is really nothing, my friends. Time is running, as you can see, 1 minute left. And asteroids are also interesting if you really want to discover something, if you are attracted by the idea to find something in the universe never seen before you. Asteroids could be your friends. I must admit that over the years it became harder and harder to discover an asteroid, because amazingly good telescopes are at work every moment scanning the skies, so it is very difficult that you see something that they have not seen before. But this can happen, and amateurs astronomers are still finding, even if at a smaller rate, new asteroids. So if you really want to discover something and hopefully have your discovery named after something important for you, try to discover an asteroid. You can see also a bunch of satellites here on the left. And I think that this time our asteroid is visible very well. I guess you can easily recognize what is a dot here and what is a trail. Please remember, the telescope is tracking the asteroid, so I do expect that as I am tracking the asteroid will look as a point of light, while the stars left to themselves while I'm tracking it are slowly sliding on the background. So the asteroid is this. This image is interesting because here you see natural objects and also artificial ones, like these trails you can easily see on the right. And tomorrow I will try to identify which satellites were there while we were observing. And still I find this to be a pretty nice experience. Waiting. I'm just trying to remove first attempt to broadcast on Facebook. And the new image is expected to show in less than 30 seconds. Still, I want you to look at the asteroid, which is here. This is a live image captured via the virtual telescope project, of course. And this is the asteroid. The point of light, let me zoom it a bit more, and the stars are just gently trailing. And now the new image is downloading. The image will be refreshed and you will see the asteroid is still there while the stars are slowly moving to the left, my friends. And I would like to add a third object. While I'm going to stop this just to be sure that no other images are grabbed. Let's see if we can observe something moving reasonably fast. This can be nice. I see a pretty bright. Let me see also this other one. I do expect this to be bright as well. Yes, it is. Perhaps the asteroid Toro could be a nice choice to conclude this live session with something bright. Okay, let's go with the asteroid Toro. I will ask the telescope to point it. Okay. Remember, yellow circle, the current position of the telescope, red circle, position of the object I'm asking to observe. Now, ask the telescope to go there, and you will see the yellow circle moving and finally sitting on the red ones. Almost done, almost there. Let's see if we see something. We are looking east now. This object is rising right now. Yes, I see some stars. The telescope is pointing. Wonderful. And as the orbital elements here are relative to well-known objects, the asteroid here is very likely the object in the very center of the image. This one, but with such a very short exposure, you cannot say if this is really the asteroid. But if I will take a 3-minute image, for example, I will give to that moving object enough time to show itself. The 3-minute exposure already started, and here we are waiting. I have been asked by many people actually to run another session tomorrow in a less extreme time. The request arrived from Europe, and it is very late in Europe, and you can imagine a lot of people is already sleeping, and perhaps here in Rome I am the only one celebrating at this very hour Asteroid Day. So tomorrow in the evening, European evening, I will run another Asteroid Day live field, and I will promote it tomorrow morning if you want. And tomorrow I would like to observe asteroids which have been just discovered. All the objects we are observing now are well known, and they have been discovered time ago, sometimes also many years ago. And I will want to have you also looking at just discovered objects, and we will do this tomorrow. For example, the asteroid we are going to observe, 1685 Toro, has been discovered in 1948, so a lot of years, many years ago. And tomorrow I will hope to bring to you the thrill of fresh objects. 1 minute left before you can see this. During this live feed celebrating Asteroid Day, this international event introduced for the first time in 2015, and we have seen Asteroid Day growing year after year, and it has been a number of years now that Asteroid Day has been considered by United Nations as an official day also for them to celebrate asteroids, what they mean for us from a scientific point of view, a cultural point of view, and also just sharing with the people worldwide this journey of discovery of these truly intriguing objects, bringing us many precious informations about the origin of our solar system, and hopefully one day we will also have the opportunity to improve the quality of our lives just using asteroids as resources. Look here, I didn't ask the telescope actually to track the asteroid, okay? So the telescope tracked the stars, and what we see here, quite obviously, if you look very careful, as the asteroid, the telescope this time tracked the stars are point of light, while the asteroid is showing as a little trail. I'm happy that I did this mistake, so we could just change our point of view. We were observing using the point of view of the asteroid, okay? The telescope was just fine-tuned to its motion. Now the telescope is observing in a typical, I would say a traditional manner, just tracking stars. When I say we are tracking stars, we are actually tracking the apparent motion of the sky from east to west, and you know this motion is just a consequence of the Earth spinning around its own axis, and the telescope is tracking that apparent motion of the stars. And the asteroids, left to its personal motion, is not only moving because the Earth is rotating, but it is also personally moving. Okay, also the stars are personally moving, but their motion is happening, is showing in very long periods of times, with a few exceptions. And one day I will show live stars moving, showing evidence of motion in in a short time, like a year, for example. So in 60 seconds we should confirm if this object here is the asteroid or not, but it is already clear. Let me say, you see all the stars this time are perfect points of light, while the only small trail is the asteroid, because this time our telescope did not track the asteroid. Again, I repeat, tomorrow, after a precise request by a number of people willing to join, we will run this on an earlier time, also to help European friends to join, because it is 2 a.m. in the morning in Europe, and I would like to make happy also our European friends, just to celebrate Asteroid Day internationally. And I do expect now to see this trail moving. Imagine is coming. And here we are. Yes, this is the asteroid. I find very interesting to share this with you. The experience of an astronomer just spotting an asteroid, recognizing an asteroid by its motion. It is thanks to the motion that I can understand if an asteroid is close or not. Very likely, an asteroid which is close to us is apparently moving much faster than this. And I can tell you that the virtual telescope has been tracking incredibly fast object. So friends, I hope that this journey was of interest for you, and that tomorrow you will be again with us. I hope that looking at the sky, looking for asteroids on Asteroid Day will be for you something rewarding, and for me has been a real pleasure to share all this with you. And really I hope you had a great day, a great Asteroid Day, and I want to tell happy Asteroid Day to everyone. I also want to thank the Asteroid Day International team for having this idea years ago and bringing this beautiful event to the world, making possible for people to meet, discuss, share and learn under the name of asteroids and their truly fascinating story. That's all for now. I invite you to join tomorrow early in the evening in Europe, and tomorrow, again celebrating Asteroid Day, we will spot asteroids which have been just discovered and likely still waiting to be officially confirmed. Thank you very much for joining, and happy Asteroid Day by Gianluca Masi, Virtual Telescope Project Italy. Goodbye.